He ono tēnā koutou, kua hau tēnei, ko Anaha Te Hiini, kia whakahuatia ake te tehi waku pepeha, ko makatiti te maunga, ko kataina te moana, ko Te Arawa te waka, ko Ngāti Tarāwhai te iwi, ko Ngāti Hiini te hapū, ko te paparere a Rotorua te marae, tēnei ka mihi kia koutou. Tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou. Identifying ourselves as particular whānau within the marae, identifying ourselves as particular marae above whānau, and then of course identifying ourselves as particular hapū underneath the umbrella of the iwi. So an example is when we're in Rotorua, we identify ourselves as particular hapū, Ngāti this, Ngāti that, and then even in the that's under the umbrella of the iwi, I suppose, within our hapū and in our respected marae. When you go outside of Rotorua, you're known as Te Arawa. When you're in Rotorua, you're known as Ngāti Piki o Ngāti Rangiwewehi, Ngāti this, Ngāti that, all the way to Ngāti Tarāwhai, I suppose. Then even underneath the umbrella of Ngāti Tarāwhai, all the different iwi, you identify yourselves as Ngāti Te kōrero, Ngāti Hiini, Ngāti this, Ngāti that, which then brings you back down to your respected marae, and then of course your respected whānau. So I think that's an important one for us to understand, is that when we go to Rotorua, that's when we're Te Arawa. When we're in Rotorua, we're actually our own iwi under the umbrella of the Te Waka o Te Arawa. To go there first and foremost, there's many taonga in there that affiliate to us, not just as Te Arawa, but Ngāti this and Ngāti that as well. The likes of Pukaki, Tūtauru, which is quite whānui, that one there pertains to all of us at Te Arawa. You've got Murirangaranga, which of course is Ngāti Whakauwi specific, according to the narrative. That was Tūtānekai's kōwauwau. So listening and understanding the specific history that pertains to each of those taonga, that'll draw you closer and closer to your Ngāti Whakauetanga, to your Ngāti Pukaki-tanga, to your Te Arawa-tanga rānei. Because it's Te Arawa specific, for it to be Te Arawa specific, I suppose. So Manuhiri learn all about the Te Arawa Confederation of Tribes, about the history of Rotorua as well. Probably a bit about the land as well, stories about what happened on the land that the museum stands on. That's quite important for us to understand. Such a beautiful place today. Back in those days, one huge story is that it was a battlefield and many people died on these grounds. So I think a little bit more history about the land would be awesome. The particular land blocks, there's many land blocks where the museum and the event centre, the playground, going all the way through to Te Toto Hinamaru, which is a land block down by the water. So yeah, a little bit more about the land blocks perhaps. The journey of the waka, starting right from the start, I suppose, from the conception of the thought of how the waka came to be, which takes us way back to Hawaii. And I think Hawaii is an important kaupapa. Back in the 80s, what I was told about Hawaii is that it was a mythical place, he wāhi rukahu. It was fictional, you'll never find it, it was submerged under the water. But I thought it has to be a real place, because apparently, according to the narrative, my tūpuna, the likes of Ngātoro and Tamatekapua, they sailed te moana nui ākiwa from Hawaii to here. So they must have had to have come from a real place, which started my research on Hawaii. I think Hawaii is an important one, and then that leads us to the reason as to why the waka was built, and then the pathway that our tūpuna followed when they eventually sailed the seas, going from one particular Hawaii to another, which we call Raiatea and the Tahitian Islands, coming down to Rarotonga and then coming down to Aotearoa. The upsets on the way, the likes of Te Korokoro Te Parata, and the renaming of the waka. A lot of people might not be cognizant of the fact that the Te Arawa name came later. Ngā rākau mātahi puatua matua was one of the original names of the waka. Then it became Te Arawa after it went down into the Korokoro, Te Korokoro Te Parata, around about, some say around about the Kumarek Islands, which is pretty much smack bang in between Rotorua and Aotearoa. So all of that, the journey all the way through to here, where in the narrative we landed, which whangaparawa was it? Was it the one up in Auckland? Was it the one on the East Cape? Where it eventually landed in Maketu. What happened to it afterwards? Coming all the way through to bringing us through to here, since we're in the kind of like Te Pukapu or Te Arawa, into iwi and hapū specific stories of this particular tribal area of Rotorua.